I've been through the rain and I weathered the storm, I'm not looking to stop. My God sent the angels, I'm good when I move like I move with the mob. Tears in the valley, this life is a jungle, I pray to the top. Life is a marathon, I'm running to them, I'm shaking off weights and I'm done with the fear.
This is for the kingdom builders, the entrepreneurs who are called to make an impact bigger than just money alone. The ones who are overcoming trials and turning past failures into future success stories. It's for the bold who refuse to let fear overcome faith. This is Impact Kingdom. Welcome back, episode 8, Impact Kingdom, guys. And today I want to talk about what does it look like to lead like Jesus in your business. So there's a powerful book called Learning to Lead Like Jesus right here. That is by Boyd Bailey. So really great book. Highly recommend that you pick it up. But really, I want to give you kind of 3 principles that I took from this book that have really changed the way that I show up as a leader within the business. And so first, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that's embarrassing. I saved this email. I need to find it, figure out where I sent it. But I saved this email because it was an email that I sent out in my first business. And so my first business, I just hired actually my brother as a salesperson. I had another coach that was working in my business that was doing sales as well for me while I was gone. And then I had someone else that was on the phones calling leads. And so I had just taken a trip to Jamaica. It was a family trip, something I just had to kind of do and went on this trip. And so I put them in charge while I was gone. And what happened is that we went from where I was kind of doing all those roles, doing the sales, calling the leads, all that stuff, before me leaving. And, we're consistently making sales, bringing in new business to that entire week, right? The first 3 days while I was gone, there was like no sales made. And it was a point in the business where it's like, I should not have been on a trip because the business was not in a financial place where it needed to be. Those new sales mattered. And so going even 3 days straight with no new sales, it was not good for the business. And I'll never forget this email I sent. And it was very humbling to look back at now, but the email was pretty much just I. When I did this, I got these results. When I called these many people, I got this many pickups. When I did the sales appointments, I was closing at this percentage. So it's completely unacceptable that you guys are getting this current result, right? Watch these training videos, do this because this is what I did and it worked for me. And that was how I led at the time. And it was no wonder why I struggled to build a team. I had poor leadership skills. We couldn't get results unless it was me hopping in and trying to do everything myself. And that was the type of leader that I was showing up with, and it led to poor results. It led to an inability to scale a business because you can't scale a business if you don't have people to lead. And so that was an email that I will always remember because it's a reminder of how bad of a leader I was, but it's also a reminder of how far I've came as well. And so a lot of that does to picking up books, learning more about leadership, and most importantly, using our faith to be a backbone for how we show up as leaders in the business. And so if you are interested in becoming a better leader, being able to lead like Jesus versus lead like someone who's not a man of faith or a woman of faith, then these next 3 things I'm going to give you, these 3 principles, are something that you can take and you can apply right now in your business. So principle number 1, leading like Jesus is servant leadership. And so a lot of times, and we've all seen those memes where it's like the types of bosses. You have the one that's in the back, being pulled, and he's pointing at the people, and they're driving all their work. And you have the person that's out front leading that way. And so being a servant leader means that it's not about the title that you have, right? Just because you're a boss, just because you're CEO, or even if you're watching this, you're a manager, whatever it may be, it means that you always put the person that is even underneath you in a hierarchy, right, from an org chart, you always put their needs above your own. And so that means that's showing up to serve, right? That's, if you're working in a physical place, that's being the person that's willing to go out and take out the trash, pick up the floor, right? Clean up the office, whatever it may be, right? It's being willing to serve and help. And now it's being able to take the time to serve by teaching, right? Maybe someone's not getting something. Maybe it's taking 30 minutes out of your schedule to actually work with them on that, right? It's taking the time to listen. It's taking the time to understand. It's taking the time to show up as a servant, right? When we look at the stories in the Bible and we look at the stories about Jesus and how he operated, right? He was a man with power, right? He was God's son sent to the earth, right? Like he should have been the person in the highest authority that had the most power, that had people doing whatever he wanted for him, right? He could have gone that route, but that's not how he showed up. He showed up as a servant, right? And that's how we are to show up as leaders within the business. And if you have that mindset, if you show up that way, you're going to be amazed at what happens in your culture and your business because other people start showing up that way. And then now next thing you know, you have a business of people serving each other, which creates tremendous results. And it creates people who will go above and beyond to get a result done because of the way that you've shown up as a servant leader, okay? And the next thing here is the second principle is learning to lead with love and humility. This is big because in business, let's be real, in the marketplace is driven by results, right? There is a constant pressure on the business where you have to be better, right? Mistakes have to be very limited, right? Especially when you're dealing with, customers and taking care of needs if you're like in a service-based business, right? Like there is this constant pressure to you have to always exceed and you have to meet results, right? Because if you don't meet results, you don't make enough money. You don't make enough money. There's no profit. You got to cut cost, right? You got to cut costs. Next, you're firing people, right? It's just, there's so much on the line when it comes to business. And that's just the way it is, right? That's why it's high stress, high risk. And so it can be very easy to get to that mentality where it's all about performance reviews. It's always about pushing people. It's always about, telling people this is a high stress, high performance environment. You need to buckle up your pants and get to it, right? Like all those different things, it becomes very easy to have that kind of strict mentality when it comes to leading in your business. And it can be easy to forget that you're leading people. And so at the end of the day, if we are Christian business owners, we are here to create an impact in the kingdom, which means that we're here to create an impact in other people's lives. And so one way that you can do this is you can do one-on-ones, right? And you can do them weekly, right? Or do them bi-weekly. But it's where anyone that leads in your business, they do one-on-ones with their direct reports. And these one-on-ones are not for talking about business or not about telling people where they need to improve or things like that. They're strictly for loving. They're strictly for learning more about that person, learning about their personal goals, learning about what's happening in their families, right? What's happening with their goals outside of work. All those different things are just understanding the person and showing up with love, right? And then humility, that comes from being real, taking ownership, right? Having extreme ownership of your business. If there's a culture problem, there's a results problem, you're the root cause. At the end of the day, you own the business. It's up to you to figure it out. And so humility is not passing the buck. It's not blaming other people. It's not calling people out in front of other people, right, for poor performance. It's taking ownership. It's showing up. It's showing how you made the mistake. It's showing how you're going to improve and what you're going to do about it, right? That's humility, right? You don't want false humility where you're just kind of like, oh, no, it wasn't me. I didn't do a great job, like giving credit to other people. You want humility and taking ownership. That's humility, okay? And then when you are winning, cool, pass that ownership over to the other people who are getting the results. Have humility there as well. Okay, so that's how you can lead with love and lead with humility, and that's principle number 2. And principle number 3 here is probably the most important one, and it's integrity and character. There is nothing worse that you can do for your business and showing up in a way that does not represent your values, that does not represent your character, and that does not represent what you tell other people to do, right? For example, let's just say that you are a stickler when it comes to character of being prompt, being on time. Right? And that's something you make sure everyone does. You can't come late to a meeting. They come late to a meeting, you're going to call them out, right? You can't be late to work. You're late to work, you're going to call them out, right? You're going to hold people accountable for being on time. But then when it comes to you showing up to meetings, when it comes to you showing up to things, and when it comes to you being prompt for stuff, and you kind of are a little bit laxy-daisy on that, right? That's killing your character. And if you kill your character, you're killing your business because people will not respect you. And there's nothing more that people dislike than a hypocrite. Right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all seen that. Maybe we've had that with our parents. We've had it with other people in ministry, whatever it is. It's like, we don't like hypocrites. And there's a reason why. Jesus didn't like hypocrites, right? That was the Pharisees. And so you do not want to show up as a hypocrite as a leader within your business. That's probably the worst thing you could do for your culture because people won't respect you and then people will not follow your values that you set. And so the way to do this is that set true values in your business, right? Not fancy buzzwords that you can put up on a wall for a mission statement and core values. Set values that deal with character, right? How you operate, what you believe in. All those different things matter there. And then make sure that you do nothing but live those values, speak to those values, call those values out when you see them on other people, give shout outs, right? Just make sure everything that you can do is about representing those values and showing how other people in the company are representing those values as well. If you do that, you have integrity, you have character, and those are things that a leader must have, especially a faith-based leader. Okay, guys? So there are 3 principles for you on how you can lead like Jesus within your business. And I promise you, if you just start doing that, if you operate with that mentality of how can I lead like Jesus today, even if you just ask yourself that question every single time you go into a meeting, how can I lead like Jesus in this meeting? You're going to be a much better leader. You're going to have a much better culture. And of course, you're going to get much better results. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, I will see you guys in the next episode. Please don't forget, subscribe. Let's grow this community of kingdom builders. Super pumped to connect with you. Shoot me a message, shoot me a comment, whatever that may be. I would love to learn more about you and your business and what you do. Until the next one, guys, take care.